So this is part 2 of my Kundalini Rising experience. In part 1, I discussed what happened. In part 2, I'm going to discuss what I was doing that led up to what happened. And then in part 3, I'll talk about how it's affected me since. And by the way, I share all this type of information and have discussions on it Sunday mornings. I'm starting a new cycle of this Sunday in 2 days from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Pacific time. So every Sunday morning for the next 3 months. I'll share with you this type of information, the physics behind this type of information, and also how to get into these different states. I'm not guaranteeing you're going to have a Kundalini Rising experience, but I will show you how to move into your different states of consciousness where you are raising your vibration and you get to see more of what reality truly is. And by the way, my name is Dr. Kat Lewis, and I use the Vedic science of consciousness and the principles of lifestyle medicine in order to help spiritually minded people achieve higher states of mental, emotional, and physical health, knowing that the health of the physical body and the state of the nervous system are essential for achieving these higher states of consciousness. So in general, what I was doing was studying the nature of reality and re-seeing who I really am. I was studying the Vedic science of consciousness, or Vedanta, which stands for the knowledge that ends the search for knowledge. And I will tell you that that statement is very true, because once you understand reality from this foundation, then everything begins to make sense. You still are in awe of the universe, and you still have interesting experiences, and there's still mysteries, but you can put those mysteries into perspective because you have the big picture of what reality actually is. It's quite remarkable. The essence of Vedanta has been simplified and captured by the 17th century sage Shankaracharya. It's in this one statement: Brahman Satya Jagat Mitya Jivam Brahmeva Napraha, which means Brahman, or pure consciousness, which is existence itself, isness, is the only truth, which is the word Satyam. And what they mean by truth is the only thing that's real. And how they define what real means is the only thing that is permanent. So it's unchanging. So it's eternal, it's ever present, unchanging, blissful, unlimited, and that is pure consciousness. And that's the only thing that's real. Everything else is apparently real. It's coming and going. It exists, but just like a dream. And the world, which is the word Jagat, the world is unreal. Mithya. It's apparently real. It exists like a dream, but it comes and it goes, and so it's in the relative reality. It's in space-time. So anything that is born and dies, comes and goes, that's impermanent or always changing, that is mithya, apparently real. It exists, but it's just a dream. It's apparently real. It's only an experience. And there is ultimately no difference between Brahman and Jivo, which is us as individual souls. So I was taught this right away. I was taught I am existence itself, and therefore I'm free of any limitations. So what I would do is I was learning how to put my attention on myself as the container of this dream of life. Like the sky. The sky is just there. It just is. Everything is occurring inside the sky, inside space, right? Everything is occurring inside space. So the ultimate reality is that beingness that we are all a part of, and that is our true nature. So when you start investigating the nature of the mind going inward, then you start to experience yourself as just that beingness, and it allows you to be free of any limitations right away. Now the thing is, I didn't know how to stay in that state, but even without staying in that state, I was shifting my identity from feeling like the limited self, the human, to understanding myself as pure consciousness. I was also doing Kundalini Yoga, which is a lot of breath work, a lot of meditation going inward. Now, they do some really strange things, and I don't think some of that is necessary, but I love Kundalini Yoga. It's a really powerful practice. You're not necessarily going to get a lot of wisdom depending on the experience of the teacher, but it is a good physical practice and way to de-stress the nervous system. And that is essential for achieving these higher states of consciousness and staying in them. My point is, I was shifting my identity from the limited human self, to understanding myself as pure consciousness. And again, I wasn't able to stay there very long because I didn't know how. That came later. Even without that, I was still able to have that Kundalini Rising experience. The other key thing that I was doing was I knew that my true self, that part of me, is whole, complete, eternal, limited, and unaffected by experience. And so anytime I was feeling limitation, a limited belief like anger, frustration, jealousy, lack of confidence, anytime I had those feelings, if I could catch them, and over time I got better at catching them, but I would experience them and then I knew that I was out of alignment. I knew that my true self, my true nature was whole, complete, and blissful, and unlimited, and unaffected by experience. I knew that if I was having those negative emotions, then I was identifying as the limited human being. I was pretty disciplined about catching those negative emotions and then saying, no, I'm identifying as cat. I'm not identifying as pure existence. That was powerful because it allowed me to be free of those emotions. It made it so much easier to drop whatever belief I was thinking in that moment, because I knew that my natural self, my true self, was not thinking that. And I was interested in aligning with my true self. What that does is really important. It helps you keep aligning with your true self, but it also raises your vibration, because it's those limited beliefs that lowers our vibration. And when we keep holding on to those beliefs, it affects the nervous system. It keeps you at a lower vibration. You can't feel energy very well inside your body.